Hello, this is John Cato here, 30-minute trading. I just want to introduce to you a new indicator I've been working on. You'll already be familiar with the other indicators. It's called the sTrader2 indicator. I'm going to drop it on the chart and I'm going to drop it in over the top of the sTrader indicator because it's similar to the sTrader indicator, but it's been refined and it's been back tested on the Wall Street. So let's just pick that up and drop it on. I'm going to drop it in down there, see, like that. And we can see that it's set up so alerts true. Now what that means is, do you want alerts, yes or no? And if you set it to true, it will give you alerts. Failed alerts, false. It means if it's false, you don't want to be notified of alerts that might have triggered but didn't trigger because they're not within the constraints that happen below. The next thing is, do you want to use the BBBR indicator? This is the new indicator, which is similar to the bull bear butterfly, but it's a faster responsive indicator based on things to do with relative strength rather than the ordinary BBB indicator, which is based on a mixture of candles and candle strengths and moving averages. So I'm going to set that to BBBR ind as true. Now then, I've got a setting here, BBB min and BBB max. That says it must be within a range. So instead of in the past where we just had it bigger than a particular value, we're saying it's got to be in this range. And that constrains it so that when it's consolidating, for example in this case, anything between a -1 and a +6, you can consider to be within the consolidation range and breaking out. So that's the intention of that. Litmus min, I'm saying partial counter trend. Don't mind if it's counter trend when it's breaking out of a consolidation phase going in the other direction. So that would be like a reversal or a reversal to mean, or even a breakout. That's allow either. Candle probability is true. That means if the candle closes in the upper 35% of the candle, that means that the candle probability has got momentum behind it, so that's got a push going out through it, so we want that. Reward probability, I've set that to false because I'm going on the basis that all trades on the time frame I'm interested in will have the appropriate reward probability. That's the inherent reward ratio, which you'll see on the strength meter up here. And basically anything that's green down the bottom there is good. So I pre-configure for this. Risk percent 0.9%, stop distance ATR 60%. So that's a really tight stop, and on the Wall Street it turns out that's quite a useful one to use. However, I've got this set up as a drop down. You can choose lots of different things. You can choose 80% of the candle, the whole candle, the average true range, 80% of the average true range, 60% of the average true range, 30% of the average true range, the prior opposite candle, that means the prior opposite colored candle, or the support and resistance lines. You can set any one of those. They all affect basically how far away the stop is, and therefore that means with regard to the risk it affects the volume of the trade, and so you can play around with that anyway. So now the important thing is that for the Dow I use ATR 60, and that under back tests works well, as do -1 and 6. Other asset classes you might want to put candle as being the distance, or the support and resistance being the distance, and you might want to change the BBB min range so that you want something like maybe a minimum value of 5 or 6 and an upper value max of a 14 or something like that. And that is carrying actions on the strength of the breakout. That might work on certain currencies, whereas other currencies it might not. You need to experiment a little bit with that and how it suits you. So look on a demo account, look and go back over things and go, well, you know, hypothetically, if I did that, how would it work? So for Wall Street, what I'm saying is you set it up as a -1 and a 6, a partial counter trend, a candle which is probable. The risk percent, I probably ought to set that up higher. So even though that normal risk management you want it 0.9, I would push that up to 1.6 for the Dow. And the candle ATR 60%, and we just set that onto OK. Now we've got it on there, you can see it on the chart, that's the yellow line. Pick the crosshairs up, and you can see this allows you to go long at this point here. So there we would have had a long trade alert on the 5th. So at the end of the day on the 5th we would have had a closure with a long trade going in that direction. Targets on the trades, I recommend that you set targets for it to be T5, T4 or T5. So you've got a stop at 0.6, that's 60% of the average true range, and you've got a target of T4 or T5, and that's what I'd recommend. When you back test on this over a period of about 2.5 years, that works out at giving you a reasonable profit with these sort of risk ratios. So over 2.5 years, I think it gave something like 40 or 50% profit, which arguably is not huge, but at the same time it's a heck of a lot better than you might get anywhere else in the banks or savings, bonds, other ways of investing. So actually it's a remarkably good response, really good rate of return, and that's it. So that's the sTrader2 indicator. Do email me if you've got any questions.